Hi, welcome to this DCP web tutorial. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create an image slider on your WooCommerce shop using Flatsome theme. Okay, let's go ahead and open up the web browser, and we're going to go back to this website that I've been working on for a client, and it's called a t-shirt local. So it's like a t-shirt company, right? And I'm going to go into the admin control panel, and I'm going to create a new page. I'm going to click on pages here. As an example, to create an image slider, we're going to add a new page first, and we're just going to call that let's just call it new home page, right? And we're just going to publish this. Just click publish. So we've just got this basic page, right? So if we were to go to preview here and click preview new tab and close this tab down, we can just see it's a blank page. Now, as default in Flatsome theme, when you create a new page, it's going to inherit what is called the default template. So when we go back to pages section, if we scroll down and go to page attributes here, you can see it's set to the default template, and we want to set it to full width here, full width, so that we can get a full width image slider. So we're going to click full width here and then click update. And when we go back to the web page and refresh it, we don't really see any changes here, right? It's just a full width template. But now we can go into the UX editor. So here we've got an option down here to edit with UX Builder, and if we click that, we can start to build a full width image slider. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on add new element here. And when we click on add new element, we want to add a slider, right? So we're going to type in slider, and we're going to click on slider here. So we've got the slider in here, and all these default options, we're going to go through them in a moment, but for now we're just going to click the back arrow here and then click update, because we want to get rid of this WP content block. So we're just going to click on the cog here and click the delete button. So now we just got this image slider sitting right at the top, and we can click the update. So we want to put a picture in here, maybe some text and maybe a button or something like that, and we click on that button, it will take us to a certain category. If we click on this drop down, we can see men's, women's, girls and boys, right? So we've got these 4 different categories for different styles of t-shirt for these different types of categories here. And what we want to do is create a different slide for men's, women's, girls and boys. So we need some sort of picture to go in the background, and then we can add some text and a title, and we can do a bit of animation work and make something nice here, something decent. So to do that, we need to open up a new tab. We're just going to download a couple of pictures. I'll put links to these same images if you want to use them in the YouTube description. We've got one for women, we've got another picture here for men, and we've got one for boys t-shirts. So they're all wearing like t-shirts here. And then we've got one final one for girls t-shirts here as well. So we'll just download these 4. So we've got these 4 pictures. Let's drag this to the side, and we're going to open up this folder, and let's create a new folder in here. Let's organize our stuff. So let's just call this homepage slider, and we will drag those 4 pictures into here, right? Like this. So we've got the 4 pictures in here, and let's just maximize this again. And what we want to do, we can close down this Pexels website. We don't need that anymore. And really we should create a new folder in here, and we're going to call that folder done, because when we're done with these pictures, we're going to move them into this folder and just leave our final content in here. I'm just going to set them to thumbnail so we can see what they are. And let's start off with the men's t-shirt first, for example. I'm going to do this in Photoshop. I'm going to open up Photoshop. I'm going to create a new document, and I'm going to set it to 1920 by 700. We're going to use this as a test example, and if the sizing is right, then we can create multiple images off of this sizing. So 1920 by 700 wide, that's the size of the image that we're going to create for the slider. And we'll drag this first picture in here. Then we can hold down the Alt key, left click, and then we can drag this out a little bit like this. Click on the move tool, click on the picture, hold down the shift key, and then just drag this down a little bit so it's kind of got a bit of spacing above. Something like this will be good, and you can do this in GIMP software or Photoshop. I'm going to press Control Alt Shift and W, and that will allow me to export the image as a JPEG file. I'm going to set it to 100% compression, click export, and then we'll go to this folder. Let's go to let's go to this slider folder, go into this folder, and we're going to give this file a name. So let's call this men's slider homepage, right? Let's give it a sensible name, and then we'll save it. and this will be our test image for our slider. And this one here, we've used it so we can put it into the done folder. Now we just got this one slider image here, and let's go ahead and compress this image, right? We should really compress it. So let's just go to compress JPEG website, and we drag and drop this image into here, and it's going to reduce it in file size. So we can just click download now, and let's go ahead and just drag this compressed version in here. And the reason why we've done that is the original one was 946 kilobytes and the compressed version is 277. So we can drag this one into the done folder and then just get rid of this -min at the end. Now we've got a nice compressed image that will load faster, which will be beneficial, right? So let's go back to the editor here, and we're going to click, you can either click here, add to slider here, or you can click here, add to slider. We're going to click this one here, for example, and we're going to click on banner. So you can click different options. If you just want to have a picture there, you can have a picture, but I think banner is quite useful in the Flatsome editor, so we're going to click that. And it's going to give us some different options. Do you want it to be like quite simple? Do you want a box on the left and a picture in the background? You can do like box on the right, center. You've got all these different options, circular. But we're going to just stick with simple, centered, right? So we've got text, some subtext, and a button as an example. And we're going to click apply. And then it's going to ask us for the background image. So let's click select image, and let's go to this folder, and we'll drag and drop this picture into the software, and we'll cut this and paste it into the alt tag and click use this image. Now we can see that picture in the background, right? And we've got this text here, and we can click open editor, and we'll get rid of this subtext. I don't think we really need it, to be fair. And what we'll do is with this text, we'll just type in something like men's t-shirts, right? T-shirts. Let's just type in men's t-shirts. Maybe we'll put a hyphen in there, will be good. And we can select this text. Let's make it a lot bigger, right? It's a bit too small. Let's say it's around 200, so it's nice and large, and we can see that in there. And then inside of the format, we're going to go to animation, and we're going to have it sliding from the left. So it's going to slide in this particular piece of text, and we click OK, and then we can click apply. So this text will now slide in, and let's go back to this banner and let's go to options, and inside of here there's a few other things we can do. We can do slide effect, so we're going to have it zoom out. So with the slide effect we'll be zooming out, and what we can do is set the let's set the effect in it. Right now I'm not going to leave any effect. You can do like these sort of like maybe we use this like these little bubble things, sparkles. You've got like confetti, you've got like this glass sliding door sort of thing. You've got sparkles and snow. So if it's like a special offer for winter or Christmas time, you can do this like little snow effect, right? I think sparkles is okay. I think that's okay. Maybe we'll use that. And we want to link it to somewhere. So let's go back to the website. Let's go to shop and men's, and this is going to be the URL. We'll copy it, and then we'll go back to our editor, and inside the link we'll paste that in there for now. And let's see if there's anything else we want to change in here. I think this is going to be like the original size of the image, so we leave it as its default size, and we'll leave it as zoom out. And I don't think there's much else we want to change in. I think this is pretty good. This should be pretty good. So let's go ahead and click apply, and then click update. Let's go back to this page here, and we can refresh it, and now we can see that update. We can see the image fading in, right? Like fading towards the background. That's that fade option. So if we go back in here and go to the banner and go to the options, we can like have it zoom in rather than zoom out. So we can just click apply and then click update. You can see it zoom in here, and when we refresh it, it's going to do the option. It's going to kind of zoom in towards the people here, right? Now let's go back to the slide options here and go into options, and in here we can set things like let's see, we can, okay, we don't actually have more than one slide, which doesn't help. So let's just discard this. Let's make a temporary copy of this slide so we can see what happens when we do transitions between them, right? So we'll click update for now, and then we can click on this banner, right click on it and duplicate it. Now we've got two versions, so we can move between them. We can see what the slide effect is like. right? Otherwise, it's hard to see what the slide effects is. You can't see the dots or the little arrows, and you can't adjust things unless you have more than one slide. But this second slide that we've created is more like a temporary one. Think of it, a temporary one. So now we can go to the slide options, and we can adjust things in here and actually see how it affects this sliding options in here. So one thing we can do is set like parallax, right? And that kind of, in fact, we won't do parallax, but normally when you do parallax, let's try and set it to parallax actually. And let's move between them. Let's see. Normally parallax, let's just update it. Let's refresh this. I'm not really seeing any sort of parallax function in there. Maybe I'm using it slightly wrong, but normally I don't use that option, to be fair. But draggable, you can have it so it's draggable, so you can actually click on the slide and move it. So here you can actually use your hand and move it across like this. So that's worth having on. Free scroll, I don't like to use this. Infinite scroll means that it will always loop back to the first slide, so that's always a good thing to have. Show on mobile is kind of optional. There's these little options down the side here. If you click here, you can see what it looks like on mobile, you can see what it looks like on tablet, and you can see what it looks like on desktop. So we'll leave it, but you can actually create a custom version for mobile devices as well. Maybe I'll show you that in another tutorial. The position is set to inside, outside. I don't think we need to change this. Always visible navigation, so we can leave this on, and you can like turn off the arrows, so the arrows on the side you can turn them off or on. You can set them to like simple arrows, or you can set them to ones with circles, or you can set them to like have these little options down the side here. But I prefer the like simple, just like default arrows, and you can have them either dark or light. This will also affect the little dots down here. Can you see like the dark and light here? The bullet style, you can set it to like dashes. Dashes looks pretty cool as well. And then you can set it to auto slide and set that. Let's say for now we'll set it to something like 3000 milliseconds, which is 3 seconds to be fair. And we'll click update. And if we go back here and refresh it, after every 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, it should slide to the next one, right? So every 3 seconds we're going to move straight to the next slide. If we go back in here, I'm pretty sure there's some other options that we can do in here. So let's just go into this option here. Let's just see. Let's see. I want to try and improve the text animation. Let's click on the text and open it in the editor. Let's see if we can do something with this. So the animation is saying fading from left. Let's see, fading from right up. I think we'll leave it on fading from left is okay. We don't really want to have a delay on it for now, so I think this is okay. Let's see the text box itself. So this is the text. Let's see some options in here, if there's anything we can do in here. I think fading from, let's see, bouncing from, let's do fading from left. Let's apply this and click update. Let's just see now. Now the text kind of slides in, right? Fading and sliding in from the left. That's kind of one thing that I wanted to do. That was in this text box option here. And the button, let's just go in and go to the button itself, and you can set it to upper or lowercase. And let's see. We don't really want to call it click me here. Let's just do something like view products. So at least the button's got a sensible name, and we'll set it to primary, and let's set it to default. So now it's like a blue button like this, and the button we can have it bouncing. Maybe let's have it bouncing. Let's see what that does. Let's apply this, and let's go back and refresh it. And I don't think we want it to bounce in, so let's change that to let's change it to flip X. And I think let's see what that does. Right, that should flip the button, right, like this. And then on the other one, the text box, let's go to its options, and let's go to its animation, which was, where is that gone? Let's set this to flip Y, so X is on the horizontal, Y will be on the, should be on the vertical, right? Let's test it. Now we've got this nice sort of animation here, right, for the button and the text. So it's a little bit hard to explain. You know, Flatsome is not the most easiest tool to use. It's quite rich in terms of its features, so we have to sometimes experiment a little bit. The reason why we created these two slides is to see the transition, but to also see the animation effect. And once we're happy with how that animation effect and the size of the buttons and the text and everything is good, then we can use that slide, replicate it for the rest of the other slides. We can do them quite quickly. So I think this is pretty good. I don't really like these little dots floating up, so we can get rid of that in the banner, I believe. Let's go into options, and I think there was animation, and we're going to just set it to nothing, right? I don't think that looks pretty, it doesn't really look that great. So for this, I don't think we're going to use that. We'll click apply and then click update, and then this banner here, this one, we can actually just delete it now. So we can just right click on it and get rid of it, and we're left with the main banner. So the main banner has all of its assets already built for us, and this helps us to now build more banners. So we click on this first one. Let's just go to edit options, and inside the admin label we should just type in men's. Let's just type in men's and then click apply and then click update. Now it will say banner men's, so we know what it is. We should already know what it is anyway, but it's always nice to do that. Now we can go to options and duplicate, and then just click apply, and then we can click on this banner, this second one, right? This second one, we can edit this one. Go to options and we'll type in women's here, and then let's go back to Photoshop. We're happy with the size of the image, so let's go back to the directory and drag in the picture of the lady, right? This one, I believe, and then we can just kind of get that sized up maybe to around here, something like this. This is not the best image, to be fair, but you know, you can go and experiment and find other images, I'm sure. I think we'll set it to like about here, should be good. We'll press Ctrl+Shift+W to export. Let's export this. We'll just run it at 100% compression. We can click on men's slider, click on this one, and just change the word men's to women's. And then we've got the name already set up for us, and we can click save here. And we can minimize this, go back to the compressor, and we can get rid of this image, we don't need it. Drag this one into here, and then drag this one into here. Let's download this image, and then let's just drag that image. Let's just minimize this. Let's drag this to the side a little bit. We just want to drag this image into this folder here. Okay, so we've done the second slide. We might as well do all of the slide images now, and then we can compress them and then drag them into here. It'll be a bit quicker. So the other one is the boys, so let's go back to Photoshop. Let's drag that one into here, and then we'll expand it out to something like this. And you know, we're selling t-shirts, so we want kind of emphasis on the t-shirts, I guess. And we'll export this, and then we can go ahead and set it to 100%, and instead of men's, we'll change this to boys. And then we'll drag in the other one, which is we can get rid of this now, we don't need it. We've already compressed this one, and we're dragging the girls here, right? And this one we can probably zoom in a lot more, so about here. Let's click the move tool and hold down the shift key, and we can just move this to the side so they're kind of centered in the picture. We'll export this one as a JPEG file, and we will call this one girls, right? So boys, and then we just do girls, and then click save that, and then we can drag that into this folder. So now we've got 3 images to compress. We've compressed this one already, so we just hold down the control key, select all 3 of these, drag them in here. You can see they're uploading, and this software will compress them and reduce them by 70, 80 or whatever percentage it might be. I think this one we've already done already, right? So 1, 2 images, yep. So it's just these 2 that we need to download. So let's go ahead and click download here and here, and we'll drag these ones into here. We should be left with 3 images. One we've already used, the men's one we've already done, right? Let's set it to list view, and then we can just press the we can click on the picture. In Windows we can press F2 and then just delete this, press the tab key. We're just getting rid of this word min on the end, min, and we'll do that here as well on this one. The men's one we've already done, so it's really these three that we need to do now, and we're going to build the slider for it. So let's go ahead and open up this browser. We're already on the women's slider, so now we can just click change media, and we'll go to this folder, drag and drop the women's slider into here, or the picture for it. Let's cut this and paste it in here, and then we can click on this text, go into the editor and change men's to women's, right? Let's just do women's, W-O-M-E, women's t-shirt. Click OK. We'll go to the website and we'll go to the women's category, copy this, and we'll go back to the builder. We can apply this, and then we'll click on this button, and we'll scroll down and we'll paste this link into here, and then click apply and click update. Let's just check the men's button was done as well properly. Let's click on it, and it doesn't have a link at the moment, so let's go to the men's category, copy this, and we'll paste it into here, and then click apply and then click update. Now we've got two of them done, so let's click on this second slider and let's just minimize all of this stuff, and we can click on the cog here and then duplicate it. Now be careful, when you click on the cog and duplicate, it's still selected the middle one, and this is the women's one that we just finished, right? So we need to click on the end slider, the end one, and then we can click on the cog option and go to options here, and then we can go to change picture, and we'll go ahead and drag in the, I think the boys one we'll do next, and then we'll copy this, paste it here, click apply. You can see the picture in here. Let's click on this text, open it, and we'll change this to boys and click OK. Click OK here. We'll click on this button, go into the categories here, and we'll click boys, copy this text, and we'll go back to the UX editor, and we'll scroll down through this button and replace this URL, click apply and click update, and then we can minimize this again, and we can now click on this one and duplicate it, and we'll click on the last banner here. Remember, you click on the last one, then we can go in and go to options, click on the change media, and we want to do the girls last, so let's click this one, drag it into here, and we'll copy it, cut this, paste it here for the metadata, right, for SEO. We'll click here. Now we can see the picture of the girls. The heads are kind of cut off a little bit, but it was more about the t-shirts than really the pictures of the people, right? So we'll click on the text, click open. You can always readjust that in Photoshop if you wanted to. We'll type in girls, click OK, click apply. We'll click on view product, this button. Let's go to the shop and we'll go to girls. Girls is actually the third slide, right? So we'll copy this and we'll change the position of these slides maybe. We'll paste it in here, click apply, and then click update. Let's just click update again, and in theory we can just minimize these. Really we should rename them, right? This one's called women's, which is fine. This one is women's, but it should be boys. The picture isn't showing in this one for some reason. Let's just click apply and update, and let's just go back to the website and let's see. Let's just refresh it and see if we see it here. We can see the boys picture here, and we can see the girls, right? So we can see all the slides here. So let's just rename this one. Let's just rename it options, boys, update, and then this one here we should rename it to girls. We should name the slides so when we come back and look at them later, we'll know exactly what they are. It's quite important. And then update. Now if you want to change the position, let's say you want men's, women's, and then girls and then boys, you can just drag this slider down one, just drag it down one. Now girls will be there and then boys will be underneath. Click update here, and then we can exit the visual builder, or we can just go back to the website, refresh it, and we should see the men's here. And it's time to change every 3 seconds, which is a bit fast, but I left it at 3 seconds because I just wanted to see what the sliders look like, and they all seem to work fine. And if you click on the view product, it will take you to the boys, for example, and if you click view product on men's, it will take you to the men's, because we set the button to go to that particular page on each slide, each one, right? The women's goes to the women's, for example. So the slides are a bit fast. I would say probably around 5 seconds would be better. Let's go back to the editor. let's click on the slider and go to options, and we can scroll down here and set the duration to 5,000 milliseconds, right, which is 5 seconds basically. And everything else in here you can go and experiment. There's quite a lot of options in Flatsome to go and play around and experiment with all of these different options. There is a slide, and there's also an option to fade images or fade the content, so we can check that out. Let's just refresh it. So in theory, rather than it sliding, it should fade this time. Let's just try that. Now we can see them fading in and out, right? I kind of like the slider. I think the slider works better, let's say. So let's go back here and change that to the slide option here. You've got some other options in here. You've got like shadows. You can have it like shadowed like this. That's kind of quite interesting. I don't know if you like that, but you can have it like this, and then it will kind of slide across. It should slide across automatically after 5 seconds. We have to wait a bit longer. You can see it slide across. But this kind of might be nice, not really for the header, but maybe lower down in the content. You could do something like this, which will look okay. I think in the header, it's not really right. I don't think the header should just be like a full width slider. So we can change that now back to, let's see, a full width default. Yeah. Okay, let's update this. Let's just check it one more time. So we should wait around 5 seconds and it should slide across. One other thing we could do, just to make it a little bit more interesting, is on this first slide, the picture is zooming in towards us, right? So we could alternate that. So what we could do is on the first one, the picture zooms in. So we can click here and go to options, and we can set this one to zoom out. And then on this one, the girls one, we can, in fact, that one's already set to zoom in. And then on the boys one, we can go to options and set this one to zoom out. Now they're going to alternate. The first one will zoom in, this one will zoom out, zoom in and zoom out. Let's just make life a little bit easier, and we'll set this to 3 seconds just so we can test it and update it. And if we refresh, the men's one will be zooming in towards us, and now the ladies one is zooming out, and then the girls is zooming in, and then the boys one will be zooming out, right, like this. So you can kind of alternate them. It's quite interesting, yeah? Okay, so let's go ahead and check one other thing. We should check it on tablet. Does it work well on tablet devices? This is kind of sized out for tablet. Then we can check mobile. Is it looking okay for mobile devices? And that's pretty good. Don't see any sort of problem there. It's kind of nice. Obviously, we can create our own custom one for mobile devices. If you open up the desktop version and then go to the slider and go to options, right down here at the bottom there's visibility, and you can hide it for mobile devices, or you can say it's only for desktop, or you can hide it for desktop, or you can hide it for mobile. So there's options in here to set the visibility of this slider, and then you can go and create a completely different one that sits below it. You can even duplicate this one, create another one that is just specifically designed for mobiles. And I actually did that on one project. So if we just open up the browser and go to this energy.website, let's just refresh this. This is the wrong picture. Let's refresh it. So here you can see the picture. This one is for the desktop, but if we resize this, let's just resize it in the browser. As we resize it, you can see it switches to a different view, right? You can see like the text is over here and the people are over here. Let's just move this to the side of it. You can see it's like landscape, right? But then when we get to mobile view, it switches to a different image, and that's because we set 2 different image sliders inside of the Flatsome editor. We hid the desktop one for mobile devices and just duplicated this and put another one right below it, and then hid that mobile one for desktop, vice versa. Okay, maybe we'll look at that in another tutorial. If you're interested in knowing how to do that, then write a comment inside of the video on YouTube. So if you comment on there asking for that tutorial, I'll make it for you. Let's just close this down. So that was quite a lot to explain, but Flatsome is quite a complex tool, but it's a good tool, right? We do things because they're not because they're easy. We do them because they benefit our customers, or they make our businesses better in some way. So that's how you go about creating a nice custom image slider using the Flatsome theme editor on your WooCommerce website. Okay, let's go ahead and minimize this. That's the end of this tutorial. I know it was a bit long, but sometimes things take a little bit longer to explain. If you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, that will be awesome. You can get access to over 650 free video tutorials there. That's the end of this tutorial. Keep track of my YouTube channel. I'm going to be making lots more WooCommerce and web related tutorials. Quite a few people have been asking for that, so that's the sort of videos I'm going to be making over the coming weeks. That's the end of this tutorial, and I look forward to seeing you in the next DCP web tutorial.